All right, awesome. We are back with the Red Pill Podcast. Today, we've got a great episode coming for you guys. We've got a lot of helpful tips, hopefully, that's going to work for you in your life. Is that recording over there? Oh, you got notes up now. Okay, cool. Then we got a lot of tips for your guys' life and also about accountability as well, how we're going to start holding ourselves a lot more accountable and how that's going to help us grow in the near future. So, we got a bunch of notes written down for today's episode. We're pretty excited about it. Last time you guys saw us, we were in London. Now we're back in the States. Ready to get really after it. I think before we weren't really not taking it seriously enough, but I think we weren't holding ourselves personally accountable enough for our outside lives instead of, just preaching to preach. We needed to walk the walk instead of just talk the talk. We needed to really back up what we're doing. So, you guys want to see us grow as much as we want to see you guys grow. So we're going to try and do that and be a little bit more transparent with you. We got a new segment coming up today that's going to really help us out with that. So, yeah, we're back, and it's nice to see you guys again.
What's going on, you guys? So a little bit of what he was talking about with the actual name, right? The Red Pill Podcast. The red pill meaning growth mindset. The blue pill meaning fixed mindset. So when we live in a utopia, as you will, really, right, with DoorDash, with Amazon, you've got gyms everywhere, everything you can make money in any type of way, right? If you think about it, 2 generations ago, it was the Depression, the freaking World War II, just constant tragedy, right? We live in a really, really good time, so it's easy to get comfortable. It's easy to get soft. And I think that, it's really easy to just be average, and I think when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of what's important, there's the pain of the discipline of, right, whatever that you want, that's going to require something that you don't want to do, and you do it anyway, and you're disciplined about it, compared to being in pain from being regretful because you didn't do what you wanted to do, even though you were this close, because the only thing that counts for close is horseshoes and hand grenades, right? If you didn't get there, you didn't get there. And there's all these goals and these things that we want, whether it's, getting in shape or starting a business or talking to that girl or whatever the heck it is that we're not constantly going out and attacking every day.
Making ourselves a little bit uncomfortable.
Getting uncomfortable and trying to just become the better version of ourselves. That's the basis of this entire podcast. And that's literally why we started this, is to be able to, right, help not only other people, but ourselves unleash the true potential that's inside of us.
Yeah.
And call it the red pill, because it's the hard to swallow pill. It's the path that's less taken.
The most resistance.
Yeah, the path of most resistance. And at the end of the day, the hard stuff pays, and nothing worthwhile is easy.
Just like you always love getting into something about fitness, like in working out and stuff, the more resistance that you're going to put on your body, that's how you judge of how much better you've gotten. If you started benching at, 2 plates and then, or 1 plate and now you're at 2, you're able to do more resistance, which in turn made you better. You know what I'm saying? Or able to lift more weights. The more you just let something, push harder against you, and you pushed harder against it, is a really good sign of growth and just how much you've come. You know what I'm saying? I guess weightlifting is a really good way to look at that for sure.
It's such a good sport for training the mind and pushing past mental barriers and killing the quitting mind. There's so many benefits that transfer into just the areas of your life, like business, or doing approaches, or reaching out to people on the daily, letting them know how you feel, because it's hard when we live in a society where everyone's kind of on their phone, but no one reaches out to each other.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny,
especially in real life, and it's really difficult to try and live in real life and have conversations with people, especially after COVID. I feel like it really fucked it up a lot with, trying to just live behind your phone screen, not having a conversation with people in public. It's going to be even harder to approach a girl nowadays if you've been in your basement or wherever the fuck you've been, and now you're going to go and approach a girl that you think is pretty. Like, that was already more difficult than it was anyway, and then now it's even harder because you've been like this, It's definitely not going to be easier to go from sitting behind a screen to talking to somebody in person. We wanted to go ahead, like that segment that I was talking about. You got an acronym for it. I can't remember exactly what the acronym was, but we wanted to do a segment on every single episode where, like I said, we wanted to show you guys that we're getting better right along with you, of us doing something progressive towards our life and reflecting on it every single day. And you should do the exact same thing. So, for instance, like today, they don't have to be anything that's super substantial to your life progress, but it needs to be something that you can, like, not even 1% better, but 0.1% better that you did today. Like, for instance, today I got up, I made my bed, I got in the right mindset, I ate well, and I only drank water besides a new drink that Kyle gave me. But other than that, I've been really working on it. I've been counting my calories. I've been tracking my progress. I've been making sure that I've been putting the right stuff into my body. It doesn't have to go that long, but just anything around those lines. Personally, that's the stuff that I did today, but we're going to do a segment just like that every single day and see and know that, every time we look back on this, we did something good that day to get better. Or right now, I can even add that I'm sitting down, we're doing this podcast, we got it together, got everything set up, we're in here, we're doing what we need to do. That's making me better. Have we put out an episode just right yet? No, but we're getting there. By the end of this week, we're going to have them all out by Friday. So,
which is awesome, right? They say move in silence until you strike like lightning. That's the key, right? It's part of Sun Tzu, The Art of War, where there's so many people that they half-ass things, right? They want to, they're so quick to get one out, and if they don't get the views that they want or whatever, they're going to quit. Not having the long-term vision of, right, like, this is going to take some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like time plus consistency equals results. And that's where all of us fall in our circle little faces, is the consistency part of it.
Yep.
And if you make the commitment, you just flip the switch and you decide to go all in on yourself, there's nothing that can stop you unless you quit. Like, seriously, if you've got the resources, you've got the time, if you only knew how much you had, right, you'd probably be a lot more urgent with the time that's left. Because, I don't know, man, it's like kind of crazy to think that all you are is this little dash in between the years that you're born, the year that you were born, and the year that you die. I mean, there's so many people that you don't know their name. There's millions and millions and millions of people that have come and lived on this planet that have freaking gravestones that nobody can read anymore. And it's like, dude, like, everyone in front of us, too, no one's going to remember. Like, legit. So that should, like, give you a little bit of liberty to do
something that makes people remember you, for
not
sure.
Not even something that, like, because you're not going to be remembered.
Yeah.
But doing something that you're passionate about because it's yours. We want to keep up with the Jones. We want to do everything that everyone thinks that we should do.
This is going to bring us right into the just perfect segue into the first topic that I really wanted to talk about today, was just this, like, artificial wanna be somebody type of mentality that is just so easily portrayed on everybody these days. And I really wanted to, like, point out the example of how easy we're making stuff like that with the new Instagram's not its own company anymore, but it's Meta, Facebook, introducing that everybody can get their own little blue check mark for a price of $15.99 per month, which, just like we're saying about nobody's going to remember you on your heads, like from your headstone, whatever, this, that, the other thing about, you can build this legacy, but nobody's going to remember it. It's the same thing that comes with this, is people want to skip all of the hard work that it took for to get the blue check mark. You know, if you know Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you know he's in the movies. You know LeBron James, Steph Curry, all these people, Tiger Woods, all these people who have worked hard as athletes or writers or poets or whatever, and they've done all of the hard work, and then, you know, Instagram pats them on the back saying, here you go, you're like a legit celebrity, here you go. Now, they offer it as a subscription per month, and to me, personally, it looks like a little bit of a, whoever, I mean, if you buy it, good for you, that's fine. If you want to, like, make it seem like your account's a little bit safer than what it was, but in my personal eyes, I will never buy one unless Instagram hands it out to me personally, because I don't need that instant gratification, because I haven't done anything yet that allows me to deserve something like that. I don't want to buy a check mark so that I can feel better about myself, so that people can think, oh, wow, what has he done? You know, because I personally, when I look, and you're used to at least, go and look on Instagram and be like, oh, wow, you guys have a blue check mark. Like, he must be famous. He must have done something. He must have, you know, built a business, a company. He's a Fortune 500 owner, blah, yada, yada, yada. I was like, oh, wow. But now it means nothing, you know? I mean, it means that, yeah, maybe this is your real profile, but it doesn't mean, like, you have some sort of stealth or wealth or status.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. That's a very interesting topic. I don't know. I don't really care about the whole blue check mark thing. I don't want one. I mean, I don't think it matters. But I get it, right?
But you wouldn't pay $14.99 a month for it.
I think they're trying to copy Elon.
What do you mean?
With the Twitter monthly subscription. Because that guy's changing the game.
That's true. He did do that.
I mean, there's parts of it, like, you just hate the bots.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
agree.
I sell cars on Facebook.
Yep.
And I'm not joking, man. 1 out of 3 is a bot that hits me up.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
They're like, can I have your number? Can I text you a code? It's like, they try to sell me stuff, and it's retarded.
Yeah.
And it's annoying, you know? So, I think they said they delete like 15 billion users a quarter. Or no, not billion, 15 million, or some crazy number.
Yeah.
That are just fake accounts, you know? And then you have all these people that, like, try and imitate other people, and then reach out to them for money and all this. It's annoying. So I don't know what's behind it all, but I think that, like, utilizing social media social media is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because it can cut through like you would never believe. I sell an extra 10 cars a month.
Because of social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, 100%.
Yep.
And I'm not even as religious with it as I need to be, like with the posts on going live and doing doing events like I used to do, like Drive for Free on Me. I would do this event where for a month, if you bought a car from me, if you referred someone that bought a car from me, or you did a video testimonial about your experience with me at the dealership, I would enter you into a raffle and pull your name out of the hat, this little digital app that I had at the end of the month, that would be first prize, Drive for Free on Me, like I pay your car payment up to $1,000. Number 2, you get a Visa gift card of $100, and then number 3, you get an oil change for me for a year.
Yeah.
Right? So those types of things I would do on Facebook, and it would be crazy. That, you know, if you don't utilize it, it's like kind of stupid. But at the same time, the other edge of that sword, you know, is the constant hours that you spend. They say it was like 300 feet a day that people spend on social media scrolling.
300 feet, wow.
300 feet, dude. Imagine what you could do with those 300 feet. Like, no shit. Like, learn a new skill, get into a new hobby, start painting, fucking buy a horse. Dude, whatever you're into, you could do it.
Yeah.
The time thing is just an excuse, because it's like when people say I don't have enough time, it's just not a big enough priority. Because if you look at your freaking time on your phone, like, seriously, your
my screen time.
It's like 2 hours a day, 2-3 hours a day on social media. That's a problem.
It is.
It's a fucking
and I'm just as guilty as it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure just as many people are guilty as it on here, you know? I mean, and not all social media is bad, you know? For instance, you know, you're saying learning a new skill or whatnot. You can go on YouTube and learn a new skill, and then it's going to say your screen times, you know, a couple hours or whatnot. But if you're learning something compared to just mindlessly doing it, then you're going to be 1%, 2%, 3% better every single day. I mean, and I'm super guilty of being on social media and just mindlessly scrolling, especially when I'm at work. You know, I don't get any calls coming in, yada. whatever, I'm there just all day. I probably scroll 600 feet. I mean, probably not really, but I mean, if I could stop doing it, I'd be a lot better for it. Or if I could just take that time and put it towards a new skill, I'd probably take 2 months and I'd be like a master at something if I just stopped doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, they say 100 hours in any discipline, you're already 95% better than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. Only 100 hours.
100 hours.
That's it.
Yeah. Most people train on something like one time a month, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Because time, it's quickening, right? It's fast paced. It's now like the day and the sun and the moon just do. It's like, it's fast. A month goes by like this. And now, if you're not like personally meditating seriously and pressing the pause button in your life and getting that little buffer zone to be still, you're never going to freaking get in charge of your own time. Because seriously, you have the ability to do it. We all have the same 24 hours. You got to think about like Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, freaking the president of the United States, like whichever one you like. I'm talking all these people that have these massive schedules in the same amount of time that we have. Like 15 minutes by 15 minutes, everything's scheduled out. But they're like on it, like a hawk. Because you got to think, right? There's eagles and there's pigeons. Dude, eagles fly at a high altitude. Not a lot of birds can take that. So it's like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a pigeon or do you want to be an eagle? It takes work. I
think this brings us perfectly right into our next subject. Is we already went from the first subject was kind of, we have that comfortability in, we want to be comfortable and we should be uncomfortable. That goes right along with having the blue check mark. That makes you feel good. It makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. And then now this meditating or, finding out what you're looking for brings us to our next topic, which is accountability. We really want to be accountable for what we're doing and scheduling and whatnot. And this is another thing that we're working on. We were just having a conversation before we started the podcast today. It's like we really need to get this thing down. We were saying this is real life, real world example. This is us. We want to, I need to get here after work, 4:30. We need to, get our stuff written down. We want to talk maybe a couple minutes, but we need to get into the podcast 5 to 6, get it done so that we can, be productive. We don't want to be sitting here talking, going around and around in circles, because we can go on and talk for hours on hours on hours about just whatever, but we need to get here, get the schedule down, do what we do. I need to go home, I need to edit it, I need to get it out. The productivity and the accountability are hand in hand. You need to be able to have both of them. Without accountability and without, discipline, you're not going to get anything done. And I mean, I trust me, was the biggest procrastinator ever, especially like growing up, high school, whatever. I was an extreme procrastinator. Like get it done last minute because it was easy. So it was like, I don't need to do this right now. Blow it off, get it done, give a fuck. And then that wasn't good. That didn't teach me any way to discipline myself. That was just I guess the only discipline was when it showed up on my, or not showed up on my desk, but when it was on my desk and it wasn't done the last day, and it was like, I only got 9 hours to do this now. When it takes a week to do, it's like, oh fuck, now we're really gonna try hard and do it, So be accountable for what you're doing and be disciplined, and that's gonna get you really, with anything that you do, going to the gym, doing a really good diet, making something, doing a new skill, whatever it is. If you hold yourself accountable, you hold your feet to the fire. I was, Kyle was telling me how he takes a progress picture, which I think is great because you can't lie about a progress picture. If you start off and you don't look good and then, you take a picture every single day and then all of a sudden you're looking better, you're like, yeah, well, look I held myself accountable for these many days. I took this many photos. I have the timestamp of all of them. I have the date of all of them. And now I look good. That's holding yourself accountable. And that's just in one thing. You can do it with everything else in your life. So, I don't know.
Yeah. They say, there's this quote, dude, I heard the other day that I just stuck with me. It said, they said, just what you were talking about the procrastination thing. It says, do not ever voluntarily put anything off until tomorrow that you can get done today.
Yeah.
Like,
And I do that all the
voluntarily.
time still. I still do that all the time.
And I'm sure 99.9% of the population just has an issue with that. But tomorrow,
But that doesn't mean that you need to be 99.9% of the
yeah,
population.
you don't. You can be you. It's unique as hell. Most, there's nothing else that has the same DNA that you have. You're right. You're the most unique thing in the freaking universe, technically, right?
Yeah.
So it's like really how when we talk about accountability, when we talk about not putting off things that matter most, right? Because fulfillment, purpose over pleasure, right? It's time plus consistency, purpose over pleasure, right? The hard-earned dopamine, the stuff that, right, that you get when you do something that you've been striving for, that you set a goal for, you set a deadline, you worked your ass off for it, and you got there, man. Not some shitty dopamine that fucks your brain up because you just play video games all day, and then everything else is just dull. It's just boring because you fry your dopamine sensors. Your body wasn't meant, your mind wasn't meant to be like overloaded with so much stimuli. And it's a fact, Like, we need to be grounding more. We need to be doing like a lot more activity in the sun.
Yeah, outside
Eating,
for sure.
Like salt and drinking more water, right? All these things, right? Because electrolytes with hydration, people haven't been taught that, right? It's how do we become the ultimate version of ourselves?
Yeah.
No cliche shit.
Yeah.
No, not trying to. No course selling. Like, be the best version of yourself in 21 days.
Yeah,
no, bro.
exactly.
Like, for real. Like,
literally do
constantly fucking waking up every day and striving to set the highest possible standards for yourself, and waking up every morning trying to hit that.
And this is why we're trying to be so accountable too, is because just like he said, we don't want to be the buy our course and get better in 21 days type of people, and then we don't show at all that we're making any progress either. So it's like that's why I'm saying we want to walk the walk, and we also would like to talk the talk, because we want to be able to say it and back it up and not just be like, it should be all, good and cliche and, be the best version of yourself and be accountable and whatever stupid quote you can think of that sounds good for, some views or whatever it is. No. Seriously, sit down, be accountable for yourself, do what you need to do to be healthy, and at the end of the day, no matter who says it, if it's me or if it's your parents or whatever it is, the only person that can do it for you is yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to go to the gym and achieve that body for you. But that's also good in itself, because when you look back and you go, oh, I look really good, or I got all this money, or I have, the wife that I want now, you can go, that's on me, You need to be super self-accountable when it comes to that, because when you're having a bad day and you're doing something that, sucks, it's on you. But also when you're having a really good day and you're really high up, that's also on you. You're self-accountable, and you need to be just super present to realize that. But once you do, it'll change your life forever.
Okay, and then what people usually look to try and find, I feel like, is the way to compress time frames with whatever it is they're doing. Sure. And I mean, it's only human nature, right? You don't want to wait 30 years for something you could have today or next year. So we want to compress time frames. What does that look like? So I think compressing time frames, this is what Andy Elliott talks about. Okay, so there's 60 minutes in an hour. And how you use that hour is what determines your life.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like, legit, think about it. Just take 2 seconds and think about when you see a winner and you see a champion. What's the difference? A winner dominates losers. Okay? A champion dominates winners.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you want to be a champion, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of studying. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of accountability. There's a lot of being just brutally honest with yourself, you know? Because if you have a very limited amount of options if you want to do a certain amount of things, right? Because it just requires a certain amount of things to get what you want. It just is what it is. Unless you have some rich uncle that's worth a fucking $100 billion that's about to kick the bucket, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to work. You're a human. You didn't get created to lay in bed, right? Like, think about that. That's a Marcus Aurelius quote. I can't remember. I'm gonna verbatim, right? It's like paraphrase it. Why would I ever want to lay in bed when I was created for something more than that? That's what I tell myself when the alarm goes off, right? It's like, seriously, like, I gotta get more. I gotta get up. You know, this comfort, this soft, warm bed is so nice. But guess what? I want my dreams more. I want my freaking goals more. I want to set deadlines. I want to work hard. I want to get stronger. I want to get faster. I don't want to say the word tired. I don't want to yawn. I don't want to freaking succumb to that weak mindset. You know what I mean?
I think I have a really good quote that goes along with that too. That's like super, like, I don't know. I heard it like a little while ago and I was like, damn, that really puts it into perspective for me. It goes just along with what you were saying is, and it pertains to like a generation like we live in now, is imagine a movie where the main character lays in bed all day. How fucking boring is that movie? Story. How fucking boring is that, you know?
Watch it for like 5 seconds.
And it was like, why are you that character in your own movie? It's like, damn, you're right, dude. That shit's boring as hell. Why am I sitting around doing absolutely nothing? Why am I not getting ahead, dude? Why am I not, why am I playing GTA on a video game when I could be just, obviously not freaking like Grand Theft Auto stealing and robbing and shit, but why am I not leveling up my own shit in real life instead of just, living behind a screen, like being a bum, being a loser, just laying in bed, not doing anything, It's like,
because it's so easy. It's easy to do that.
Yeah, it is.
So that's what you fight. That's what you fight. That gravity that's always pulling you down, that makes you feel like, no, it's okay. Just rest. You've done enough. You're good. Just be average. You don't, dude, literally, average is the enemy. 100%. You want your kid to have an average life? Do you want him to drive an average car and have an average freaking wife and have average kids? Or do you want that to just be spectacular? Right? Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Yeah. Like, seriously, we all want the best for our kids, and if we have more of a parental viewership on our own lives, because we're the ones that have control on the actions and decisions, that, like the micro decisions that we make in our day-to-day life, in our belief, in our identity, with what we attach our freaking lives to, we have the ability to change all that. We really do. And it starts with, like growing from the inside first and not getting caught up on, external achievements, the wins and the losses, and getting like really dialed in with the climb, because it's never going to stop. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. It is. Every time you level up, there's going to be another level, and that might be discouraging for a lot of people, and that's why they want to just stay at the bottom. But it's if you get like obsessed with just climbing and loving the journey, dude. They said. Like, you did all this, but you didn't get the pot of the rainbow. You didn't get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Right.
Yeah. What if the rainbow was enough?
That's true. That's true. Like, yeah.
Legit.
Well, that's what they say. That you gotta love the process too.
Exactly. You do. That's the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality. Like, I was waking up at 4 to go shoot 100 free throws before you even got out of bed, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that stuff too. And so we went from comfortability to accountability. And then this topic that I want to talk about is putting yourself in your own place. So what I mean by that is put yourself in the shoes that you want to be in. Or put yourself in the shoes of somebody that you want to be just like. So, for instance, when Kyle said, oh, just be average, just do this, just do that. What I think, personally, is I'm like, okay, you know what? When he says something like that, I go, now I put myself in the shoes of somebody who is a billionaire or or the owner of a Fortune 500 company, and I go, yeah, you know what? Honestly, that sounds pretty good, because if I'm telling everybody who's doesn't have as much money as me, who isn't as they might be even smarter than I am, but I'm telling them to be average, that is dissipating the amount of competition that I have to even, try and think about a billion other people trying to come at me and come and build something that's the newest thing, and I can, grow and expand my company to do whatever I do. I mean, I think that this whole social media thing, not that it's a ploy, I think it's great. I think it was created to be something that's amazing for everybody to interact and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I think it's a super huge distraction, which is allowing these minute amount of people. I mean, there's only a couple, there's probably, less than 1,000 billionaires in the world, That's great for them that we have social media and that we're just glued to it. And, you can say as many positive quotes, you can say as many things as you want, but until you do something, which a lot of people can, get motivated and get that dopamine real quick, but they're never going to do anything about it, which I don't know as if being motivational on the internet is great or if it's just subpar, because when you get like that motivation, that feeling, Andy Elliott says something to you and you're like, fucking right, dude, but you do nothing about it and you're not accountable for yourself and you just stay in that comfort zone.
Exposure.
That's all it is.
It's not training.
It's just somebody talking at you.
Yeah, it's just exposure. He talks about that too. It's like, dude, get a freaking pen, get a piece of paper, take it seriously. Pay for the crap too. Because you know what? You don't pay attention if you don't pay for it. True. And I still, man, I don't fully embrace that. I don't fully embrace it because I come from this scarcity mindset. Like even with us coming up and, tickling with the freaking recession, dude, I own a house, I've got bills. I've got to pay crap, right? I don't want to just freaking throw all my eggs in one basket and then freaking be regretful and have to lose everything. That'd be stupid, right? So you have that risk that keeps you held back when really, dude, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit, I just made 15 grand in 2 weeks. I don't give a fuck. Like, real shit, I should legit just attack life all day. Play offense. Fuck defense. You know what I'm saying? Let it come. I'm gonna die anyway. Right? Let's go, dude. Like, I need to stop hesitating. Stop resisting. Go in and take the freaking ball. Shoot it. The buzzer's gonna go off anyway. Shoot the damn ball.
Or you could just put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is a bum and doesn't do anything and doesn't make any money or whatnot. But instead, you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's super successful that wants to be making even more than $15K a week. Then going, 15K is good. That's awesome. Or 15K every 2 weeks is great. That's freaking awesome. But at the same time, I want to be somebody who's making $30,000 a month. I want to be somebody who's making 50 grand a month,
Yeah. The sky's the limit, man.
Right.
And it really is. And there's two types of people. There's leaners and there's lifters, right? The lifters in life get rewarded for that crap, dude. Like, seriously. It's a real deal. A lot of people don't want to take responsibility for things, and they want an easy life now, so they have a hard life later.
Yeah,
exactly. If you take responsibility now, which I'm trying to constantly get myself dialed in on the same page with my freaking intentions, because your behaviors and intentions are two different things. 100%. Nobody cares what you meant to do.
Right. Nobody cares what you hope to do. Nobody cares about what you wish to do. Until you do it, nobody cares.
They don't. They never will. No one's going to fucking know your name. You know what I'm saying?
A 10-year-old could wake up tomorrow and say that I want to be a billionaire. And so couldn't a 45-year-old. Until either of them do it, nobody cares about what it is. Maybe the 10-year-old's going to get a little bit more praise because, you want to be successful. But as a 45-year-old saying that you want to be a billionaire, nobody gives a shit and they're going to go, oh, yeah, whatever, until you actually do it. And when you do it, then people will be like, oh, wow, he actually did it,
And, dude, the best thing about money is options.
True.
It gives you options. And this is coming from someone that used to be homeless. Right? You got to think about that. Homeless, like nowhere to go.
Yep.
How would that feel? You go and exhaust your contact list, and there's nowhere you can go. And usually, when you're in that point in your life, that means you've burnt a lot of bridges. Because you usually could go somewhere, right?
Yeah,
like you got a family member, a friend, somebody's going to take you in. But if you're that far off the deep end on drugs, whatever you're doing, there's mental health issues that people struggle with. For me, it was drug problems. And, it's like when you realize that you can always go back to that. You fight a lot harder to protect that really awesome shit in life that you took for granted before, you know?
If you don't even have to get to rock bottom. I mean, I know that you've been there personally, you know, which is extremely impressive that you can come from. Great example. You can come from being homeless or being down and come back up and have your own house and have, you know, a podcast and look good and get yourself back in shape and do what you do and make a good amount of money in these, you know, in just 2 weeks. You know, that's a lot of money. I mean, that an average income in America, I think, is only like $40,000 or something like that. So, I mean, $15,000 in 2 weeks is like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. But that's what I'm saying. You can come from that, but you don't have to be there to want to do better either. You know, you don't have to get to that lowest low. You could be perfectly upper middle class just like me and still want more, you know, or you could just be like, oh, you know, I could live with my parents for the rest of my life and be like, okay, this is great, but I definitely don't want to do that. I want to do a lot more than what I am. What I'm saying is that just like we were talking on this third topic here is putting yourself in that shoes. You know, no matter where you're at, you could be homeless or you could be in a middle class family. You want to go ahead and put yourself in the shoes of somebody that's on the next level or 3 levels above you so that you can start having that mindset, you know? What do you think? You know, would my mindset be the same as Kyle's if I was like, you know, oh, I'm going to put myself in Kyle's shoes when he was at his lowest low? No, obviously not, you know, because I can't, like, even fathom being at that point because I've never been there and I never, hopefully, will have to be there. Never say never because anything could change at any given moment. I could be homeless tomorrow for all I know. But, you know, put yourself in the shoes of somebody that's levels above you. I think we need to move on to a different topic, though. What is something that you wanted to talk about?
So, one thing I want to talk about is with the red pill and not having a fixed mindset, having the growth mindset is the way is your perspective. Okay, it's the way you perceive things, and this is something I've been really trying to apply in my own life. Whenever something technically goes wrong, maybe how you wouldn't have preferred it to go, whether it's no matter what it is, okay, you can always see the good in it. Okay, you say good, whether you got passed up for the promotion, right? Jocko Willink talks about this. He's that Navy SEAL that wrote Extreme Ownership. Dude's a freaking savage, but he talks about discipline a lot, and this topic right here is something that is so valuable for your dark times.
Yeah.
Right? For your times when you need to take a step back, you need to literally detach from the situation and take ownership from a very high level of awareness. Okay? Because you can always get better. Okay? You can always get better. And I'm not shitting you. The times that you grow the most is during your darkest days. It's during that hard shit. It's the character building days.
It's the beauty in the struggle, right?
Yeah, don't discount the struggle. Wrap your arms around it and see what you can gain from it, right? Got passed up for the promotion. Good. More time for me to get better. You know? Like, more time to practice your freaking craft and be the best, because honestly, it's this quote, right? I know we talk about quotes a lot, but it's so funny because there was someone that was going through the exact same thing that you're going through when they said it. And that's why it connects with you. Okay? It says, right, I would rather be a warrior in a garden rather than a gardener in a war. Okay? So it's pretty much saying, it's that quote about, right, if you're always, right, preparing, doesn't matter if an opportunity doesn't come, because it's better to be prepared and have an opportunity than have an opportunity and being unprepared.
Right. Then it literally goes to everything in life. You know, if you want to learn a skill or you want to do something and, you know, that opportunity presents itself to you, let's just say anything, like me, for instance, let's say, you know, I want to start a company, or, you know, I want to get good at let's do photography, for instance. I want to get good at photography or whatever. Somebody approaches me and they say, hey, I got a job for you. You know, I'll give you $10,000 to do it for the day, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I got the camera. I got everything. I have all the equipment, but I didn't do anything to learn how to do it. Well, if I have all the tools but I don't know how to do it, I didn't prepare, then there's no money giving to me. There's nobody giving me money. If I show up and I do a shitty job, they're not going to give me the money. That's the same thing with the garden. You build this beautiful garden. I mean, this is and the garden is ourselves. That's what he's trying to say is like the garden is literally us, your physical person. Build it up to be the best that it can be. Be the best in shape. Have your mind as good as it can be. Do what you need to do. Have good hygiene, because at the end of the day, that opportunity that comes along, it's going to present itself to you. And that I saw a quote the other day too. I mean, I know, like I said, we talk about quotes a lot, but or it wasn't even a quote, but it was a guy just saying that there's always one time in your life where you get that opportunity. It's usually happens only once or twice because it's a rarity. Of course, that's why you only get it once or twice, but that'll change your life. And if you're not ready for it, then you're not going to change. But if you are, then it's going to be the best thing that ever happens to you. So if you don't prepare your garden yourself for that opportunity that's going to present itself to you somewhere
you're going to be pissing down your freaking leg when it comes.
Exactly. You're not going to know what to do. It's going to hit
That's
you in the
what
face.
happens. You're going to be pissing on your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the hottest chick of your life that was meant to be your wife walks by, bro, and you're just like,
yeah, you're like, how are you doing?
This business ordeal, this deal is about to go down, and you have the chance to make the most money of your freaking life, bro, but you're stuttering, and you can't talk, and you can't present, and you're like all out of freaking shape, and your hands are sweaty, and your freaking shirt's all untucked, and you got food stains on your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a great quote. You can say it, you can say these quotes, but it's all about the context that goes in behind them. You can take them however you want, but it's really about the context that is just what backs up these quotes and makes them so special, because anybody can sit here and go, I'd rather be a gardener in the war than, a warrior in the garden or whatever, vice versa, but until you understand and you really are, looking to find out what it means, then it doesn't mean anything at all. So it's just, and that's what I hate about what people are doing on the internet is like
they regurgitate.
Buy my course. Here's a good couple quotes. Buy my course. I know what I'm doing. Okay, well, if people didn't buy your course, you wouldn't act like you know what you're doing because you wouldn't have any money to show that you do. It's just like, I don't know. There's just so many bad things.
So I think it's important to like provide value. If you can figure that out, I think all your other problems will be solved. Because if you wake up and you send out gratitude texts for how much you love people in your life, and like, just every day you pick 5 people and you just reach out to them. Like you head to work and you just call someone you haven't talked to forever, just stuff like that. Like, how can you provide more value to people that are in your life that aren't getting that from you right now?
And that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to tie this into, because it doesn't matter about, the people that are on this top echelon level that you compare yourself against.
Right.
There's so many people that you've never heard of that are helping so many people you've never heard of.
Right.
Right? So it's like, man, there's so much, like, market share still ready to get taken. Every kid that you know wants to be a YouTuber, just so you know.
Yeah.
So get started now.
Mm-hmm.
They're all watching you. It's crazy, for real. So if people, there's so many people that have done, the podcasting without doing YouTube, without doing TikTok, without doing Facebook, without doing Instagram. Use all the tools.
Use them all, yeah. It's super easy.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, it's consistency. And I know that application and formula, so I'm going to really work on holding myself to a higher level of accountability when it comes to that, and not getting wrapped up in the whole, dude, just right, we all have this longing to want to save face,
exactly,
not be embarrassed.
Yeah,
maybe we didn't look good in a certain video, or you had a zit that day, or whatever.
Yeah,
right, dude, if as soon as you can break through that ceiling, that glass ceiling of giving a fuck what other people care about, it's when everything can change.
And we're trying to be, when I say accountable, I really mean transparency as well. When he says that, when he says oh, you didn't look that day, good that day, or whatever, it's who gives a fuck, dude? You know, it's like, it doesn't matter. And I wouldn't say I have a really hard time with caring about what other people think, but it's also right in the back of your head every single second, you know, like, oh my God, we're going to put this out. What are people going to think? It's like, who cares what people think, you know?
It's none of your business what they think.
Exactly. It's none of my business what they think.
Yeah.
Oh, so starting a podcast is so stupid.
Just so you didn't look good that day, in your own opinion, doesn't mean that someone else watching it thought you looked great.
Right, exactly.
And then
True.
You're just in this personal mission of wanting to progress for yourself because you love yourself and you just want to be the best version of yourself for yourself. And then everyone gets to benefit because of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have this fucking crazy narcissistic ego problem. You're kind of just chill. You're just mellow. You're easy to hang out with. All this stuff. Because you're not always trying to, like, flex and be a weirdo, right? There's all fucking kinds of people out there that just aren't laid back, you know? That need to prove something. Because they're not cool in here.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and you really just gotta be, like, not like your self-best friend or anything like that. I mean, personally I am, but you don't have to be. You need to be content with, not even contentment either. It's like, it's hard to put it into words what you need to be with yourself without being, like, content, you know?
Did you get my text?
I don't want anything. Thank you, though.
You need to be, like, content with not being content, I guess, is your inner self needs to realize that, you know, maybe you don't have everything. You don't have everything to flex and whatnot, but that's also all right, you know? It's so hard to walk the line between, like, both comparatives because at one point you want to be like, you know, tell people to be good with themselves and be all right and be who you are, but at the same time it's like you also want to change a lot all the time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a hard thing to tell because there's not really words that, like, articulate exactly what you're trying to put out on that. It's like, do you want to stay stagnant or do you want to, like, be all right with yourself at the same time? It's like, it's so hard to, like,
I have the best analogy or comparison for when I was young. My mom, like, oh my God, I used to sag my pants, okay? And my mom, dude, she was like, don't you care what people think?
And you were like, no.
Yeah. And that's the kind of caring you need to care about,
Yeah.
what people think, right? Like, dude, you have a reputation.
You don't want to be sagging your pants.
Right? Like, it's
Right.
like, just in general, okay? So it's like, when people have the ability to move freely, right? Like, they're not all like tense and like, oh my God, what's he thinking and he thinking, right? Like this anxiety, this weird, like shell, weirdo kind of like composure. It's like, you're just you. You're genuine, you're authentic, you're like free flowing and moving, your energy, right? Like all that. That's what we're talking about when we say not caring.
Yeah.
Because
it's such a
like,
hard
you have
thing to
to
narrate.
fucking care what people think.
Yeah, you have to.
Right? Like just in general, like or you wouldn't want to get better at all.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Because you
in
could
general.
easily be a bum and do nothing for the rest of your life and go, oh, well, who gives a fuck what anybody thinks? But at the same time,
like
it's
if
like...
it didn't matter, why not?
Right, exactly.
But it does matter. Like, you should be a fucking working, contributing member of society and helping solving problems and, you know, being there for your family and all this shit, right? We should all do that kind of stuff.
But it's so hard, too, because we get pushed on this, you know, and there's nothing wrong with acceptance. You know, everybody wants to be accepted, and I'm all for being accepted. But there's a but in there, you know? I'm not for the people who are more than... The key term here is more than capable. If you're more than capable for, you know, or more than capable than going ahead and contributing to society and bettering your own life, and you're not doing it, then there's a problem. But for people who, you know, people would love to take stuff out of context. They could say, "Oh my God, well, what about the people?" This is the problem with the society these days, is that everybody has their own little argument that they want to chime in because they want to sound right about something. It's when I say, you know, if you're able to do it, somebody's gonna come back and go, "Oh well, I'm a veteran and I have PTSD," or I'm super high functioning anxiety individual or whatnot. Everybody wants to argue a point, but I wish there was just like a simple basic code of ethics that we had as a society. If you are eligible and capable and able-bodied to be able to help out the community and do stuff that's right and get up and go to work and just contribute a little bit, then I think we'd be in a much better place than what we're doing right now, which is accepting everybody for who they are, no matter what it is. If you're the upper echelon, doing everything that you can, going and helping out starving children, to the bottom of the barrel, living on welfare, for not reasons that you can, or for reasons that you can control, not that you can't control. We want to accept everybody, which everybody's a human being. Everybody goes through stuff, but you, like we were saying before, are accountable for everything that you do in your own life. So take it. If you're able to do it, go ahead and take your own life into your own hands and go and be a contributing member of society. I don't know if you want to touch on any of that, but basically it's just...
Yeah, I think that
it's a progress. And then also put yourself in somebody that's a level above you. Those are mine.
Okay, mine is start today. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and today. So don't dwell on the fact that you didn't start a year ago. Start now. Because the trick to getting ahead is getting started. And you can't finish if you don't start. So you might as well start now, because it's a great place to start, right where you're at. I always tell myself that. Right where you're at is a great place to start.
Perfect.
So,
awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week.